Hello everyone, I'm Braun Mithra. Welcome back. This is just going to be a little update video. I mentioned in the last Let's Talk video where I did the April or the May Kingdom Death update that I was going to do a follow-up video real quick. This is that video, although I'm re-recording it because I want to respond to some of the stuff that was said in that video. Mainly, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be quick for everybody. I experienced a little bit of Kingdom Death burnout, playing the game burnout, right? And then trying to do like Anne's Trespass, re-recording that multiple times. It just gave me burnout of like a failure that my videos weren't like good enough. So I just, there was other things that too, other videos I was trying to make that I couldn't make them right. And it just gave me a lot of like anxiety and burnout. So my stuff really slowed down. But so that's what happened. That's like the short of it. I'm going to get into it. But there you go. Now you just have it. You don't have to watch the rest of the whole video if you don't want to. So let's just go through one, talking about comments from the Herald video. The main one was when I said this is a great update, right? You have to remember, I talk about all the updates for Kingdom Death, right? So let's go back to all the Dark for like a year and a half now. I've been talking about all the updates, right? Because you go back to Herald, or even before that, when you go to the Black Friday before the original Herald started, and then we had a year full of like Heralds, almost made it a year, lost some of those Heralds in there, almost made it a full year. Then we got to the Black Friday, then we got to the Showdown in December, then we got, more Showdown stuff, Ring Fox stuff, and it kept going, and I kept doing them. Even though it wasn't Heralds, I just kept doing all the Kickstarter updates for Kingdom Death. So you're talking like 16 to 18 updates I've covered over the last year. So when I say this was a great update, that's the context you have to apply to it. I read all the updates all the time, and I constantly talk about them. And I've also not been happy, right, with the lack of progress. So yeah, it was a great update in terms of, look, we have pictures. You don't need to say anything anymore, right? Because we've gotten lots of things being said. I was just actually looking at it today where every year for the past like 4 years, in the month of May, Gambler's Chest has been delayed for a year. So like words, when I said this is great, I just meant it's a picture of a final product. It's no longer just words saying that, oh man, I'm like 97% done with Gambler's Chest. Take my word for it. Right? It's no longer just take my word for, I'm finishing Gambler's Chest. That's my pledge to you, the backers. That's my pledge to you, pledgers. And then nothing happened for 2 years. Like, this was a picture. And that's great. That's what I meant by great. I'm not saying that the whole state of the, Kickstarter has been rectified. I'm not saying that, oh, look at this, it's finally coming, let's just forgive 5 years of... That's not what I meant by great, right? A great update is still those Black Friday ones, right? Those are great updates. You get all kinds of pictures. They're really long. They give all kinds of informative, cool stuff. I was just saying that sometimes pictures speak louder than words. And that's what I meant. I wasn't saying that this is a great state for the Kickstarter. Everything is forgiven. That's not what I meant. And if that's what was taken for, I noticed from sometimes in the comments I got in the video was like, how is this great? It didn't even say anything. Yeah, I agree. But you have to remember when, you get worn down. Like, I got worn down from doing update after update. Like, for example, the very first Dark Herald, was Campaigns of Death, and it really didn't talk about anything. And everybody was like, oh, this kind of sucks. Can we have another Dark Herald for Campaigns of Death? And we're just never going to get one, right? So it's just stuff like, and then it's like, well, doggos are now coming before Campaigns of Death, and everyone wants to know what Campaigns of Death is. But if all of a sudden, just this month, would say at the end of May, the thing just takes a picture of Campaigns of Death in a box, and it just says, look, we haven't worked on it. That'd be great. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of thing I meant with the update. So there's just a response. Yeah. So if you took that as me saying that this was a great update, there's no way it could possibly be better, that wasn't my intent. I just meant it's great to finally see that there's a physical product about to be shipped to us. That's all I meant. So now let's talk about where I've been and all those other things. I've done a stream. I know I've talked about my CCG Homebrew Monster for a long time. That is done. I remember for like 2 months ago I said it was done. I've talked to there's a YouTuber named Five of Clubs. He does a lot of the CCG stuff. I know he did like Scalding Campaign. I think he's done like Allison and stuff. And he decided to do a video on Scourgelord. And I told him, well, that's cool. What we'll do is I'll do my typical video on Scourgelord where I talk all about it, which I have done. That's already filmed. It's already recorded. I've gotten all the the artwork for the thumbnail. All the stuff's already. The Patreon post with Scourgelord on the drive. People can already see it if you want. It's on my Patreon. It's just locked to patrons right now. CCG might do the same thing, I think, is what we were deciding, to just lock it to patrons so they could still at least see it. Maybe they can get it printed out or whatever. But my video is still privated. It's done. It's already recorded. I just have to hit. I might do that today, maybe. Right? The reason why I didn't was I felt like, look, Five of Clubs is great. He makes great videos. You should go watch his stuff. He's done stuff on Townsfolk Tussle. He was on the Townsfolk Tussle Kickstarter. His Scalding Seas for CCG. I don't want to push out my video before his. I want to make sure his video is out and up and live, and I've seen it. I mean, I already know it's great. I'm not saying I want to see it before I link to it. I just want to make sure that it gets his time to go out to his viewers, and then I can post mine. CCG, we can make all the patron Kickstarter or the patron update go live, and then it will have all links to his video and everything, just like a Kickstarter would, right? Where you have all the videos all ready to go. That's why that's been delayed. And I just don't really want to do that to him, right? I want to be fair to him. I don't want to launch all my stuff and do everything I don't know, whenever he gets a chance. So that's why I've been waiting on that, right? I feel like that's the right thing to do. Sorry that it's taking forever. It just makes it so I have less videos up, but whatever. And again, I was feeling burnout. Let's talk about that. So even when I was working on Scourgelord, right? When I said I had finished it 2 months ago and I had started talking to Five of Clubs, I built him a whole vignette, right? So then I built a vignette. I test played it, kind of. What I actually did was just take the core game, basic only vignette, and then it has Scourgelord stuff in it. And that's it. No other expansions, nothing else. And the vignette's just core plus Scourgelord. And then I used my characters that I was testing Scourgelord in, and I wanted it to be a level 2. And then I added some Scourgelord stuff in, so it shows off a lot of the expansion. So if you wanted to try the vignette on Tabletop Sim or something like that, you could, without actually printing it or doing any of that stuff. So I made all that after I had said it was already released. So then I did it. I put it out so he could use it. Made the whole vignette. And then as he was working through it, he told me some stuff. And it's great, right? Because you have to remember that I was seeing it originally with Scourgelord, which is fine. So I see it. I know how all the rules work. Then it goes through iterations of after we make it. Then it goes to other designers playtest it. And then I sat in with all those playtests when the other designers for CCG were doing it. I refined a whole bunch of stuff. Then from that point, after we'd refined it, then it was, well, what would be more cool, or how do we improve this, or what would go from there? And then I refined all the playtests, then I refined it and changed the whole fight to make it, more neat to what it was, or to what would be really neat that would still fit within what we wanted from it. And then I rechanged it, did all that, then sent it. Then we do again designer tests again. I mean, I probably did at least like 20 or 30 tests. And then designers, I sat in with them for other designers, for CCG, sat in with them probably maybe 5 to 8 play tests. Then we got really good. Then we did an alpha play test. Then I got some more feedback from that stuff. So this was all last year, right? And then I said I finished it about December or January or whatever, right? So when I finish it, I probably finish it to mechanic-wise finish it so it can be play tested, get all the gear tested and all that stuff, probably like 6 months before finalization even starts, probably. And then in that 6 to 8, in that year's time, I got to talk more with Dark Tastemaker. Got a whole bunch of rules clarifications, right? Like, I know... I think I have a better understanding about how almost all the mechanics are intended to be played, all the things that are errata, all the things that are typos, all the things that shouldn't actually work like this, but it's not in the rule book, but this is how it should be worked. I I know all those things, ins and outs, right? And I know how the wording, and from talking with Tastemore, it's like I know why the cards use this wording. It's to avoid these problems, or sometimes he'll give us design team insight, like why they decided to go with this, why some things are just not worth pursuing in Kingdom Death, stuff like that. So then when I went back to make that vignette for 5, I got to look at all the other cards again with all this other Dark Tastemaker stuff, and then I went to refine all the language on all these cards. And I wanted to get it done really quick. That's how I got a lot of like burnout on it. I refined the entire expansion in probably like 6 days. The whole rulebook, everything. And then handed it off to the person who does graphic design for CCG, handed it off to the other artists, then got the artists all their work for CCG in the art book, got all the cards then redone again for finalization from graphics for the guy who does CCG. He's really nice. He's awesome, very helpful. He like has an eye for graphic design, does graphic design for his job and stuff like that. So to get it to look really great, to get it to match Kingdom Death exactly super well, all those things, then to make sure everything looks great for Tabletop Simulator, then we got like, you know, a box for it in Tabletop Simulator. It's really cool. And it really is finalized, and I know 5 Clubs have been working on it, so that's what happened. So that just took time. A lot of time away from me making videos. And then also talking about Dark Tastemaker, right? Just to go onto that too, I spent a lot of time, and I've collected all kinds of stuff in Lantern's Reign for all these things. And talking with Dark Tastemaker has really given me more insight onto like... It got to the point when I was playing Kingdom Death that I was reading like every single card, looking for like, oh, I wonder if this is intent-wise, clarification-wise, this is odd. So wonder how this is meant to work. And then there's all kinds of like minutia and clarifications that are way in the weeds that I've now gotten. And that was a lot of burnout too, because then it just was like me testing for Kingdom Death, with talking, like doing all this stuff, going through every single one of their cards, finding every single thing, trying to look for loopholes and stuff, and then just that. And it felt like wasn't fun, so I stopped doing that for a little bit because I wanted to make sure that Kingdom Death would still be fun, where I'm not just playtesting for free. So then that what made me want to go do lore videos. Let's talk about lore videos. I know I've said I was going to do lore videos. I've actually recorded 2 lore videos. Kingdom Death lore. Let's talk about that. Kingdom Death lore is a weird thing. All right? With Kingdom Death, you don't really have... Because of how Poots wants to tell his story, a lot of it is left up for interpretation. This goes back to what I was saying about like perfection stuff. It just feels weird when you're trying to make a video and you really want to do something, but you know that there's like loopholes in it. And so here's what I did. During 2 months ago or whatever, I spent a lot of time writing a script for, I figured what we would talk about, and this would be another, I did the White Speaker video for lore, and I did it with Aluminum Man, right? And we were going to do another 1 hour-long huge thing. We were going to touch on the Watcher, Saviors, and the Dreaming, right? That was going to be a big video, but if you've been in Lantern's Reign or CCG, you know Aluminum Man's also very active, but he had got a new job, and I'm not going to release and record that script by myself, knowing that the 2 of us put so much time on it. I'm not going to do it, right? I still have the script. Nothing's stopping me. I could just go record it. We also had reached out, well, I didn't. Aluminum Man reached out to a warm and awful feeling. She's another YouTuber. She was going to, we were going to write parts for her to read, so the 3 of us would all work on that video. It was all done. We were going to do it, and then Aluminum Man got another job, or a new job, and he just doesn't have time. He had to move to that new job. He's working tons and tons of front-loaded hours. You know, it's the kind of things you do when you get a new job, right? All those kind of things. He has no time. And I'm just not going to do it. Like I said with 5 of Clubs, I don't really want to just... If someone wants to work with me, I'm going to make sure that they get equal out of it as much as I do. I don't like just taking other people's work or taking away something when we're in agreement. So I don't want to release my videos and everything on Scourge Lore before 5 of Clubs is done. I feel that would just want to make sure that our viewership goes spread, and we beneficially help each other. It's the same thing. I don't want to do that with Aluminum Man. I'm not going to use that dreaming video that we spent all kinds of time writing the script on until we can work together on it and we each benefit from it, right? So that is just in limbo now, which is unfortunate. It's great. Eventually, I'm looking forward to getting to it. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do lore videos, but I don't want to do the dreaming, the Watcher, or Saviors, right? That takes out a lot of it. But the game starts with the People of the Lantern. So what else can I do? So I remembered, like, well, maybe Aluminum. This is me thinking wrongly. Maybe Aluminum will get more free time in like a week, 2 or 3 weeks. So what I'll do with Aya video that I said I would do after Aya won the poll. So I'm going to do the Aya video. Then we got all the Death Inheritor Aya stuff. I included all that into her video. I was able to touch base with Aluminum Man, do some stuff. We worked it out, got the script worked out, but there's stuff in the Aya video that needs to be explained in another video. And I didn't want to just explain all of it because it would go way, way in the weeds. Then it's like, why are you associating the scribe, which is the other video I need to make. I've got the script for it. I just need to record it. I'm going to release that first. So you've got the scribe and Aya. But the things in Aya's video, there's loopholes which the scribe will explain, so I need to talk about it. So then I was like, well, okay, I'll do a scribe video. Then I put out a poll. I put my community thing about like leaps in logic, right? The way Kingdom Death, I'll talk about this in lore video too, but I'll just talk about it now. The way Kingdom Death presents its lore is Adam Poots wants you to experience via gameplay, and he doesn't like telling you, right? He wants you to play it, and then if you experience, maybe you can figure it out. And a lot of it's up to interpretation. So then it goes back to me feeling overwhelmed and feeling with this like perfection, everything. And I've gotten to lore discussions with other people talking about Scribe. There's ways to interpret Scribe. And it's not also the Scribe, the King, some of that storyline has been abandoned. Maybe, possibly, we don't know. We're going to get People of the Dreaming in Gambler's Chest. Maybe the Scribe will be mentioned. I think the Scribe is mentioned. I'll talk about it, but so there's all those things. So finally, I have to. Anyway, back to the poll with the Aya thing. I mentioned how much of it do you want of my interpretation or just straight fact? And a lot of you said they want both, right? So then I have to redo both these scripts. So I present just straight fact, and then at the end I'll do a little bit of my interpretation of it. So that's where everything is. So going forward, what you can expect is I'm going to return to just playing Kingdom Death, right? I'm just going to go back to playing it. I want to get Kingdom Death done before Gen Con, and I'm going to put out a ton of lore videos on as much as I can to get as much consensus for when I go to Gen Con. So we can get any questions built up on lore and everything. Now, with Gen Con itself, I've finally got approved for my badge, all that stuff, press badge, all those things. Got approved to take the camera, all that stuff. I got approved to record at Gen Con. Again, I didn't want to just show up and like guerrilla do whatever I wanted without approval. I'm not going to do that. I wasn't that type of person. I wanted to make sure I reach out to Gen Con. I want to make sure I get everything approved, get everything tight, bit down in exactly how approved I want it, so I don't get messed up or I don't get pestered or whatever. So that's all done, all that out of the way. I've been buying stuff like travel tripods, stabilizer, sandbags and stuff. So I've been using all the Patreon funds. I've got a list, and I'll post all that stuff up there on what exactly it is that I bought. Only the stuff that works. I've also tested, some travel stuff that I just didn't like how it worked. But I've got lav mics, a better recording, a battery pack system, so I can multiple packs to have everything there. So it'll be great. But there you go, a long update video. What you can probably expect next would be the Scourge Lord video and the Scribe video. Those will probably be out next week. Then after that, there'll be another video for Aya after the Scribe one, and then I'll just continue with my Season 4 of Kingdom Death. As to what happens with the Ann's Trespass video, I'm just not happy with it. I've rearranged, stuff, so I have a new backdrop. Because while I was finishing up Scourge and all that stuff, I was like, oh, cool. Well, I'll do the 5 video. I'll do all that stuff, and I'll take that time to rearrange the whole set that I use where I'm recording. So that would be cool. Everything's looks a little bit better for where I record Kingdom Death and all that stuff. So that'll be all fun. So thank you so much for watching. I'm glad that this little speed bump is now over. Sorry for the disappointment on like that this all happened during Townsfolk Tussle and all that stuff. I do wish I could have recorded more for all that and all those things, but you know, it's a mixed bag. So thank you so much. I'm glad Kingdom Death's back. I'm glad I've got all these videos I can finally release, hopefully. Thank you so much to all patrons. Thank you so much to 5 Clubs. Thank you to CCG. All those things. Really looking forward to getting back to recording as much as I can as possible. So, I'll see you in the next Lantern Year.